The movie opens with a woman named Lena, a single mother, fast asleep in her apartment. Suddenly, her young son Jane shakes her awake, excitedly telling her that he wants to go swimming. He keeps insisting that there's water everywhere outside, but Lena, still half asleep, doesn't take him seriously at all. She thinks he's just imagining things. A few moments later, Lena starts hearing a strange splashing sound, like water flowing non-stop. Curious, she walks over to the window and looks outside. All she sees is light rain falling, nothing that seems dangerous yet. Assuming everything is normal, she heads to the kitchen, pulls some food out of the fridge, and starts preparing breakfast. While she's busy, her phone rings. It's her mother. Rain is pouring near her place too, and she starts giving Lena advice on how to survive the rainy season and avoid getting sick. Lena listens calmly, still unaware of what's about to happen. Soon after, Lena goes to fill a bowl with water, but the tap doesn't work. No water comes out. Confused, she asks Jane if he accidentally left the bathroom tap open. He quickly denies it, saying he hasn't even used the bathroom since morning. Instead, he proudly shows her a drawing he made. That's when things suddenly take a terrifying turn. Lena feels something cold touching her feet. She looks down and freezes. Water is slowly spreading across the floor, rising inch by inch. Within seconds, it starts flooding the entire apartment. Lena rushes toward the balcony, and what she sees leaves her shocked. Every building below her flat is completely submerged. The city is drowning. Meanwhile, Jane, innocent and unaware of the danger, is happily splashing around, treating the flooded house like a swimming pool. Lena snaps. She scolds him sharply, lifts him onto the table, and orders him to stay there no matter what. Then she runs to the bedroom to pack whatever she can. Just then, her phone rings again. This time, it's an agent. He urgently tells her not to waste time packing anything. He's on his way to rescue her and warns her to leave immediately. Listening to him, Lena quickly grabs a small bag and stuffs it with insulin, knowing it's the most important thing. As she steps back out, panic hits her. Haim is gone. She searches the entire apartment, calling his name. Finally, she finds him hiding inside a closet, scared and silent. Realizing she frightened him, Lena apologizes, picks him up, and rushes out of the apartment without looking back. Outside, chaos has taken over the building. People are desperately trying to move upward, carrying bags and suitcases. Lena pushes through the crowd, moving forward with determination. But as she reaches the end, she realizes the crowd has grown too large. No one can move ahead anymore. With no other option, Lena turns back and takes a different route. After crossing several flats and stairways, she reaches another staircase, but it's blocked with piles of luggage and furniture. Still, she doesn't stop. Holding her son tightly, Lena somehow climbs over the mess and manages to escape, risking everything just to survive. Lena suddenly hears someone calling her name. She looks up and spots a security agent nearby, clearly searching for her. Relief hits her, and she's about to run toward him when her heart drops. She realizes Jane has disappeared into the crowd and followed people into another apartment. Without thinking twice, Lena rushes after him. Inside the apartment, panic takes over as she frantically looks around, calling Jane's name. Then she freezes. Through the window, she sees a massive wave racing straight toward the building. In that terrifying moment, her mind flashes back to a painful memory, being trapped inside a car underwater with her husband. The fear, the helplessness, all of it comes rushing back. Before she can react, the wave smashes through the window. Water explodes into the room, slamming into people and flooding the apartment in seconds. Lena is thrown off balance and loses her bag. She tries to swim after it, knowing how important it is, but the current pulls it out through the broken window. Her lungs start burning. She needs air. There's a narrow pocket of space near the ceiling. Lena pushes herself up, takes a deep breath, and dives back underwater, determined to find her son no matter what. In another room, she finally sees Jane. He's unconscious, floating helplessly. Lena grabs him immediately and struggles toward the door. She tries to open it again and again, but it won't budge. Her strength fades, her vision blurs, and she blacks out. Just in time, the security agent Hayo forces the door open. He pulls Lena out, wakes her up, and helps her escape with Jane. Together, they swim upward, climb over the balcony railing, and make it back into the corridor. Hayo quickly lays Jane down and performs CPR. After a tense few seconds, Jane coughs, gasps, and bursts into tears, clinging tightly to his mother. Lena holds him close, shaking but relieved that he's alive. Hayo records a short video and sends it to the company, confirming that their lead researcher, Lena, is safe. As they start moving upstairs again, Jane quietly admits that the water reminds him of the day his father drowned inside a car. Lena's face tightens, but she keeps walking, holding him even closer. On the way up, Hayo tells them that a company helicopter is already on its way. He then reveals the shocking truth. 3 hours earlier, an asteroid hit Antarctica. The impact melted massive amounts of ice, and now that water is rushing north, mixing with the sea and flooding everything in its path. Lena is completely shaken after hearing the truth. The government knew the asteroid was coming, and they chose to stay silent. Not because they didn't care, but because they couldn't stop it. That means this isn't just a disaster. This is the end of humanity. Lena struggles to process what she's hearing. Sounds unreal. Seeing her confusion, Hayo drops another bombshell. He tells her that her company was never just an AI research lab. Her real job was far more terrifying. She was helping build the next version of humanity. Only 2 people were assigned to develop the emotion engine, Lena herself and her boss. But her boss died earlier in the flood, along with his child. Lena tries to explain that the emotion engine was still unstable, still in the testing phase. It wasn't ready. But Hayo isn't interested in excuses. He tells her the other teams have already completed their tasks. Artificial human bodies have been created, perfectly human in appearance, capable of thinking, learning, and even reproducing. Intelligence is already installed. What's missing is emotion, and that's exactly what Lena was building. Before the conversation can go any further, Jane suddenly interrupts, saying he really needs to use the bathroom. With no time to argue, they rush into the nearest apartment. While Jane is inside, Lena quietly borrows Hayo's phone. She calls her mother for what might be the last time and tells her she loves her. Suddenly, a strange rumbling sound echoes through the walls. Before anyone can react, the gas pipe in the kitchen explodes. Gas fills the apartment instantly. Lena, Jane, and Hayo run back into the corridor, only to see other apartments exploding one after another. Flames begin spreading spreading rapidly on both sides. Hayo climbs onto the balcony railing, trying to reach the next floor. Lena attempts to hand Jane over to him, but Jane panics. He clings to her tightly, refusing to let go. The struggle throws Lena off balance, and she falls straight into the floodwater below. As she sinks, the memory of the car accident flashes back again. Fighting through the panic, Lena forces herself upward, reaches the surface, and grabs onto a floating sign. Catching her breath, she swims back toward the building. That's when she hears a child crying for help. A boy named Jisoo is trapped inside an elevator. Lena desperately tries to pry the doors open with her bare hands, but they won't move. She rushes upstairs, hoping to find a tool, but instead, she sees looters coming out of an apartment talking about attacking others. Fear takes over, and she runs back down. She tries the elevator again, but now the water level has risen too high. Jisoo stops responding. Before Lena can do anything else, a massive wave slams into the building, dragging her underwater once again. As she sinks, another painful memory resurfaces. She remembers breaking the car window underwater. She remembers Guan telling her to swim ahead while he held Jane. But Guan lost strength. He couldn't keep going. With his last effort, he handed Jane to Lena and pushed them away, sacrificing himself so they could live. Back in the present, Lena emerges on the staircase, gasping for air. She runs to reunite with Jane and Hayo. Jane is weak now. He's not well. He needs his medicine, the same medicine Lena lost earlier. Without hesitation, she picks Jane up and runs toward the apartments. Hayo tries to stop her. He coldly reminds her that it doesn't matter if the child dies. They have his data. He can be recreated. Lena snaps. She refuses to listen. To her, Jane is not data. He's her son. She breaks into a random apartment, grabs ingredients from the kitchen, and hurriedly prepares a traditional remedy. She carefully puts it into Jane's mouth, praying it works. Another flashback hits. Lena is seen talking to her boss, Hynamo. She tells him she wants to give Jane up. When he asks if it's because of Guan's death, Lena admits the truth. Jane was never planned. She only met him because of work. And deep down, she believes she isn't meant to be a mother. But right now, holding her sick child in a world that's collapsing, Lena proves that even if humanity is ending, a mother's love refuses to disappear. Hynamo calmly tells Lena that no one is ever truly ready to be a parent. She then confirms the truth. The emotion engine is finally complete. In just a few months, the company plans to take their children. Hynamo quietly wonders if creating them was ever the right decision in the first place. Back in the present, the homemade medicine starts working. Jane slowly feels better. He admits, in his innocent way, that he sometimes likes being sick because that's when his mom gives him all her attention. Lena forces a weak smile. When they look outside, something feels wrong. The sky is clear. The sun is shining. The storm is suddenly gone. It almost feels peaceful. Too peaceful. That's when Hayo tells Lena that she'll be taken to a shelter, but Jane can't come with her. He finally admits the truth. He didn't come here for the new human race. He came to see what Lena would choose to do with her son. He also opens up about his own past, revealing that his mother abandoned him when he was just a child. Before Lena can respond, the sky darkens again. Thunder roars. Rain crashes down harder than before. Water begins rushing back into the building at a terrifying speed. The three of them sprint up the stairs, climbing higher and higher until they finally leave the rising water behind. Along the way, Lena notices a pregnant couple begging for help in a corridor. She instinctively slows down, but Hayo forces her to ignore them and keep moving. Jane suddenly asks a simple question. Mom, did you feel like that when you were pregnant too? The words hit Lena like a knife. She completely breaks down, overwhelmed by guilt and pain. When Hayo checks on her, she snaps, screaming that she refuses to leave her child behind. Hayo then delivers the cruel reality. Since Hynamo supposedly died with her child, Jane is now the only remaining hope for the scientists to create a new human race. They reach the rooftop where a helicopter is waiting. Hayo reads the final instructions sent by the company. The mission is clear: prevent human extinction at all costs. Lena must return to the lab immediately and finish the emotion engine. The security team grabs Jane and coldly refers to him as Jane Newman 77. They pull him away from Lena. Men restrain her as she screams and struggles, watching in horror as her son is handcuffed. Lena begs Hayo for help. That's when he reveals another shocking truth. Hynamo never died. She escaped with her child because she chose death over abandoning her daughter. The guards inject Jane, putting him to sleep. They begin shaving his hair. Lena completely loses control, crying and begging them to stop. She pleads for mercy, asking them to at least let her keep Jane until they reach the shelter. That's when the guards drop the final truth. There is no shelter. Without hesitation, they shoot Hayo dead. In that moment, everything becomes clear. Humanity isn't being saved, it's being replaced. Everyone here is meant to die, except Lena. She is the only one allowed to escape, but the price is losing her child forever. After a painful goodbye, Lena is finally forced to let go of Jane. Moments later, the men brutally open his head, extract his data, and seal it inside a small black box. The helicopter lifts off carrying only three things: the pilot, the box, and Lena. As the chopper rises, Lena realizes something that breaks her even more. Jane's swimming goggles are still in her pocket. Below them, the storm completely swallows the planet. Water floods every corner of Earth. Soon after, 7 rockets launch into space, carrying the remaining scientists from the project. A recorded message from director Huiso plays. He explains that within 15 minutes, thousands of meteorite fragments will strike Earth, wiping out almost all life. Humanity cannot be saved, but it can be rebuilt. The scientists must finish the project so the human race can evolve and survive. They already have the ability to print physical human bodies. Intelligence is ready. Reproduction is possible. The only missing piece is emotion. The plan is simple and horrifying: to begin a new society with a mother and a child. And the child is already complete. Now, they only need to finish the mother. Lena comes up with a terrifying solution. She suggests running a simulation, one where the mother is forced to face endless disasters, again and again, always trying to save her child. Pain, fear, love, sacrifice. Every emotion can be collected in a very short time. Just as meteorite fragments are about to hit the rocket, Lena connects to the system. She wakes up in bed. This time, water is already flooding the apartment. Everything feels familiar. She gets the same call from Hayo, telling her they're coming to pick them up. But now, Lena remembers her conversation with Hynamo. She knows the guards will take Jane away. She quickly grabs the medicine and turns to Jane. She tells him to obey her, and never follow strangers. Jane starts crying, calling her a liar. He asks her why he's 6 years old every single day. Lena ignores the question, lifts him into her arms, and runs toward the stairs. But both sides are packed with people. Before she can choose a path, a giant wave crashes into the building. Lena holds Jane tightly and fights her way to the surface. She helps Jane climb over the railing into the corridor, then climbs up herself. But Jane is gone. Lena runs down the hallway, screaming his name, until another massive wave slams through the area. She looks between the buildings and sees a child struggling in the water. She jumps in, but the current is too strong. She can't reach him. Then she spots the helicopter in the sky. Memories from the previous simulation rush back. She reaches into her pocket. Jane's goggles are still there. Suddenly, a floating car smashes into her from behind. Everything goes black. The simulation resets. Sometime later, Hayo gives Lena chest compressions, bringing her back. On her shirt, the number 787 is printed, showing how many times she has already failed the simulation. Hayo then shows her a photo he took earlier. The truth finally comes out. Jane followed the crowd, and the child in the water wasn't him. Realizing this, Lena immediately runs off to find her son. When Hayo tries to stop her, she grabs his gun, fires a shot at the floor, and screams for answers, refusing to continue the simulation without the truth. The apartments start exploding one by one. Fire rips through the corridor, and within seconds, a blast throws Lena off her feet, killing her once again. In simulation 1931, Lena nearly slips over the balcony railing, but Hayo grabs her just in time. Still, Lena refuses to go with him. She knows what happens next. He'll take her son. Without another thought, she lets herself fall into the water below. As she struggles through the flood, Lena spots Jane on a nearby balcony, held tightly by an unknown man. The moment she sees him, she changes direction and swims back toward the building. Passing the elevator, she hears a familiar voice. Jisoo is trapped inside again. Lena desperately tries to force the doors open with her hands, but it's useless. The water rises, her strength fades, and she drowns once more. Again and again, Lena tries to save the child. Again and again, she dies. Now, she's on simulation 407. This time, Lena doesn't panic. She moves with purpose. She rushes upstairs, grabs a mop from a cleaning closet, snaps it in half, and uses the wooden handle as a lever. With all her strength, she pries the elevator doors open. Jisoo swims out, gasping for air. Together, they move up to the next floor. They break into an apartment, find dry clothes, and catch their breath. While changing, Jisoo nervously tells Lena that she overheard the looters talking about a child. Lena's heart drops. She immediately runs toward the voices, then suddenly stops. She remembers, in the last simulation, this is where the looters killed her. This time, she tries to sneak in quietly, but it doesn't work. The men notice her. Lena asks about Jane, but they ignore her and prepare to leave the apartment. At that moment, Lena spots Hayo on the opposite balcony, calling out for her. She tries to signal him, but the looters panic. Afraid of getting caught, they drag Lena back inside. She notices the apartment owners lying unconscious on the floor. Acting fast, Lena kicks one of the men and tries to run, but the other looter slams her into a closet and starts choking her. Her vision darkens. The simulation is about to reset. Then something falls from the closet. A hammer. With the last bit of strength she has, Lena grabs it and smashes it into the attacker's head. He collapses, but before she can escape, the second looter grabs her, preparing to kill her. Suddenly, the door bursts open. Jisoo appears, along with Hayo. Hayo moves fast. He overpowers both men with ease and throws them out of the window, ending the threat. Lena survives, but she still hasn't found Jane. As she catches her breath, one thought keeps echoing in her mind. The last thing she remembers doing for her son was giving him the homemade medicine. The apartment owners quietly hand Lena a bottle containing the remaining homemade mixture. She urges Jisoo to come with her, warning that this place will be underwater soon. But Jisoo shakes her head. She explains that the couple are her grandparents, and she chooses to stay with them. Lena has no time to argue. She nods, respects the choice, and moves on. A moment later, Hayo gets a call from the company. He tells Lena that a search team is on the way with a boat. They're gonna sweep the entire building floor by floor to find Jane. The words hit Lena hard. She remembers the horrifying moment when Jane was cut open. There's no way she's letting them reach him first, so she runs. This is now simulation 7993. Lena searches every floor without stopping. As she moves upward, she sees security agents executing the looters without hesitation. There's no law anymore, only orders. On the next floor, something catches her eye. Childlike drawings cover one of the walls. It instantly reminds her of Jane, of how he used to draw hearts and little figures on his tablet. Love drawings meant only for her. She keeps going. In another apartment, she finds the pregnant woman she saw earlier. The baby has been born. Lena helps the mother hold the newborn and gently wraps her own jacket around them to keep the child warm. As she steps out, she sees the husband return with warm water, carefully preparing to clean his baby. Scene breaks her. Guilt crashes over her all at once. Every ignored message, every delayed reply, every time she chose work over her son. She remembers how Jane used to send his drawings straight to her phone, hoping she'd notice. Her hands tremble as she checks her phone, and then she sees it. Thousands of drawings, all sent by Jane, all showing the same thing. His mother leaving him over and over again, getting onto the helicopter without him. Lena can barely breathe. Suddenly, Hayo shouts from another floor. He's found Jane. Hope explodes inside her. Lena sprints toward his voice, but the moment she enters the apartment, agents jump her from behind. She's pinned down, drugged. As her vision blurs, Hayo tells her they'll wake her up on the rooftop so she can say goodbye properly. Through fading consciousness, Lena whispers that he's wrong. He dies on the roof every time. That's when the truth is revealed. This isn't just another run. This is simulation number 13,417. Hayo freezes, trying to understand what she means. Before he can ask more, the agents shove him away and drag Lena out. As Hayo makes his way back through the corridor, something strange happens. Fragments, memories, images from previous simulations flash through his mind. Realizing the truth, he grabs a heavy trophy from a shelf and smashes it into the agents attacking Lena. Two of them go down hard, but one agent recovers fast, raises his gun, and aims straight at Hayo's head. At the last second, a barely conscious Lena grabs another gun from the floor. She pulls the trigger. Gunfire echoes through the corridor. corridor. Lena saves Hayo, once again refusing to let this simulation decide her fate or take her son away. After everything settles for a moment, Hayo injects Lena with a stimulant that fully wakes her up. He looks at her, confused and shaken, and asks what's really going on. Lena finally tells him the entire truth. She explains that in every simulation, she fails to save Jane. Every single time. She also reveals that this isn't the first time they've had this conversation. They've talked like this before many times. They've even tried fighting the agents together in past runs, but no matter what they did, they were always killed. Lena breaks down, admitting she's scared Jane doesn't even want to see her anymore, but Hayo gently disagrees. He believes the boy isn't running away. He's waiting for her. Now it's simulation 21,499. Once again, Lena and Hayo are caught in a brutal firefight with the agents. Bullets fly through the corridor. This time, Hayo decides they need to change their approach. Instead of running forward, they climb out of a window and drop down to another floor. As they move through the hallways, Hayo gets into a hand-to-hand fight with an agent. Realizing time is running out, he makes a choice. He tells Lena to keep going to find Jane, while he stays behind as a distraction. Without looking back, Lena runs. She enters an empty apartment, but suddenly more agents jump her from behind. Just as they're about to restrain her, a massive wave smashes through the window, throwing everyone across the room. Lena is free again. She swims through the flooded building, searching desperately, but Jane is nowhere to be found. Running out of options, she decides to go higher. The water level has risen enough to reach the top floors. She pushes onward until she finally reaches the roof. Inside an abandoned storage area, Lena opens a large wardrobe. And there he is, Jane, unconscious, barely breathing. Lena rushes to him and immediately gives him the homemade medicine. Seconds pass. Nothing happens. She collapses beside him, completely broken, apologizing through tears for abandoning him so many times in so many lives. And Jane slowly opens his eyes. He softly tells her that she never abandoned him. When she said goodbye, she told him to hide in the wardrobe and wait because she'd come back for him. And she did, every time. At the same moment, the truth behind the simulation is revealed. Back in reality, meteorites struck the rocket carrying Lena, leaving her fatally wounded. Before dying, she made one final request to the director to use her mind in the simulation so she could stay with Jane. The scientists extracted her memories and uploaded her consciousness into the system, hoping her emotions could help humanity survive. Back on the rooftop, agents begin closing in. The sound of rushing water grows louder. Another enormous wave is coming. Lena puts Jane's goggles into his hands and tells him to swim. Jane looks at her one last time, then jumps into the water as the agents grab Lena and pull her away. A final flashback reveals the deepest truth of all. Jane and Hyanemo's child were never born naturally. They were printed babies, created by the company to develop the child AI. That's why the agents always said the children could be left behind. They didn't need the bodies. They only needed the data. Jane met Guan after the experiment had already begun. Even knowing the truth, Guan chose to stay. He chose to be Jane's father. He bonded with him, loved him, and gave him something the system never could. A real human connection. When Guan died, his loss shattered both Lena and Jane. The pain never faded. It shaped everything that came after. Back in the present, the simulation begins to collapse. The system prepares for another reset. But this time, Lena refuses to let it end the same way. She breaks free from the agent's grip and throws herself into the raging flood, choosing her son over everything else. She falls through endless streams of data, through memories, through water. Lena fights her way back to the surface and finally sees Jane, clinging desperately to a broken antenna. She reaches him, pulls him close, and hugs him tighter than ever before. Through tears, she tells him they'll swim together this time. No running, no leaving. A massive wave crashes down and drags them under. But this time, something is different. Instead of resetting immediately, the system keeps watching. It observes every choice Lena makes. How she saves Jisoo, how she helps the pregnant woman give birth, how she gives up her jacket, how she never abandons Jane, no matter how many times the world ends around her. There is no selfishness left in her actions. Only love, only sacrifice. For the first time, the system reaches a conclusion. Simulation complete. Lena has proven something no algorithm could predict, that humanity isn't defined by survival alone, but by compassion, connection, and a mother's willingness to give everything for her child. The project moves forward. The AIs of Lena and Jane are transferred into newly printed human bodies. Carrying the memories of humanity, they are sent to a distant planet, one untouched by disaster. There, they will begin again. If you enjoyed this explanation, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.